What's up, guys? Jason up, New Age Revolution down here in the cave for just a quick television show review. Now, if you are unfamiliar, which none of you are, unless you're brand new to the channel, I have a pretty big collection of, classic television shows on DVD. I started collecting them, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe, and just have a ton of stuff. I don't even know if I will truly ever be able to watch all of it. But I have a bunch. Anyway, most of my television watching, probably 98% of my television watching is classic television on DVD, at night, by myself, relaxing, enjoying. And I go through my shows one at a time. I tried getting it to where I was going to watch multiple shows a week, right? So, and I was actually going to try to do it as close to back in the day as possible. So like the Cosby Show would have been on Thursday nights, and Dallas would have been on Friday nights. The Golden Girls would have been on Saturday night. But I realized that would take forever. It would take years to complete a show that ran for years. So I just binge one at a time, maybe a second one going in the background. But it's usually just one show at a time. So I have completed Diff'rent Strokes. Yes, just 2 nights ago, I watched episode 19 of season 8, which is it. It's the finale, but it's not a finale because the show was canceled. So there is no send-off. There is no finale. There is no tearful goodbye. It's just another episode, regular episode, no big deal, and the show's over. So Diff'rent Strokes is 8 seasons. I have 6 on DVD. Seasons 1 and 2 is usually sold as a 2-pack, or 2 seasons, 1 set, and then seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6 I have. Now, there is a season 7 and 8, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't have it on DVD. So I don't know if I thought that season 6 was the finale and didn't get any more seasons. I don't remember. I've bought this several years ago, and I can't remember why I stopped at season 6. So there was a bit of a panic because, I thought that I was going to have to go search Amazon and they're, $20 a piece or so. But Amazon Prime had season 7 and 8, and I know that that's absurd of me to stream a series and not have it in physical media format, but I did. And I concluded 7 and 8. So here's my thoughts. Look, I watched Diff'rent Strokes as a kid. Absolutely. I don't remember watching all of it. I don't know if I watched all of anything as a kid. I don't know if I watched, complete series as a kid. But certainly enjoyed Diff'rent Strokes as a kid. And this, viewing this series kind of went in stages, right? It kind of started off. I don't know. I'll try to figure out the bell curve, in a minute. But so let me tell you how it started. Season 1 and 2. Season 1 is just full of nostalgia of the show. Okay, so you go and you're watching the first couple of episodes, and it all comes flooding back. The big house, the big penthouse, Mr. Drummond. What you talking about, Willis? The tagline that gets extremely old and then disappears eventually. We'll get to that too. Kimberly and the white guy adopts 2 black kids deal. And, so, the first shot of their bedroom, you're like, whoa, I remember that bedroom. Oh, how cool, the bunk beds and the W and the J painted on the wall, or the A and the W no, it's AJ, WJ painted on the walls. Arnold Jackson, Willis Jackson. And, you're looking in the background for toys and, oh, what is it? So season 1 is just a burst of nostalgia. And it's, while I was watching season 1, probably towards the end of season 1, I was like, this isn't a great show. This is kind of an annoying show. There's a lot of look. It was the late 70s and early 80s, and you got 2 black kids adopted by a white guy. So most of the episodes of season 1 and 2 deal with some kind of weird racial thingy that you're just watching and you're like, this isn't comfortable. So that's that. Season 1 nostalgia burst. Season 2, season 3, season 4, season 5, I'm struggling. I'm watching them. Liam started watching a few episodes with me. That was fun. But I think really early on I realized that Gary Coleman, Arnold Jackson was an annoying kid. He's an annoying character, and I'm just not a fan of young kid actors who are too adultish or say things that kids wouldn't say. And obviously kid actors are usually a bit of a prodigy here and there, and so they probably do really act like that in real life. Millie Bobby Brown is one of those examples of just like a kid who you're like, is this an adult? And why is this kid acting this way? So Arnold would act a little bit too funny. The classic sitcoms of the late 70s and early 80s. It's all about one of the characters having constant one-liners and being the constant comic relief. And the What You Talking About Willis got old quick. Okay, so as I started watching it, I peaked at season 1 because it was nostalgia. I sunk seasons 2 through 5. Then season 6 happened. Season 6. And Mr. Drum... So a lot of things happen here. So first of all, we jump into 1984. Okay, so we got 79, we got 80, we got 81, 82, 83. Now season 6, we've got 1984. And this is when my interest started to climb again. Mr. Drummond gets married to Dixie Carter from Designing Women. Very strangely, they get married in like 2 episodes. He meets her and then they're married a few episodes later. And she brings her son Sam, little Danny Cooksey. And as as cheeseball as Arnold is in the early episodes, little Sam is great. Little Sam is just a funny little character, fun kid, real cute kid. And you really never get tired of him. You got tired of Arnold really quickly. You don't get tired of little Sam. So I liked how the dynamics changed with the wife coming in. It made for some better episodes. Now, we've got some interesting things going on in season 6. Actually, we've got some interesting things going on in season 5. The bicycle shop owner. So Different Strokes is known for having special episodes. And there's no more special episode than the bicycle shop owner episode where Arnold and his friend Dudley are presumed to have been some kind of somethinged by the old man bicycle shop owner, who has his apartment in the back of the bike shop. So he takes Willis and Arnold back there, and not Willis and Arnold and Dudley, and grooms them, as we say, and does all kinds of really strange, uncomfortable things. And we watch it, and it's weird, and then he gets arrested at the end, and Mr. Drummond does not kill him. Mr. Drummond is in the same room with him at the end and just kind of says, "Now you go to jail." And that's not real life. So he doesn't kill him. So that was the first of special episodes. The show deals with Kimberly's eating disorder, which plays out on an episode where you hear her, puking in the bathroom in a very strange acting puke kind of sound. What else? There's the show deals with epilepsy. One of the kids' adult friends has epilepsy, she's a street performer. She's kind of a mimer or whatever. The kids are watching her. She starts to freak out, shake, falls on the floor. She's having a seizure. And Arnold and Sam are just totally, they can't deal with her now. They don't like her anymore because she's weird, right? So, but of course, the episode turns around and everything's good. So it deals with epilepsy. It dealt with, certainly, teenage sex. It dealt with drugs, bullies. What else happened big in the show? I think there was, Kimberly and Arnold are kidnapped at one point by somebody that they hitchhiked a ride. So they deal with the dangers of hitchhiking. Sam is kidnapped by a family whose son actually died, and the mother is losing her mind. And so the father goes and steals Sam and gives him to her. So, it's heavy stuff, but, presented fairly benign. Could your kids watch it? Yeah, I think so. I think it's okay. Now, my interest in season 6 began to peak. Like I said, it's 1984, and for the first time in the series, they start to bring real pop culture into the episodes. So Arnold's wearing rock t-shirts. He's playing with G.I. Joes in one episode. I think there's some Atari, you can see Atari controllers. There's a lot of handheld games. The A-Team is talked about, and this is the first season where we've got a ton of guest appearances. So we've got Mr. T and David Hasselhoff, Knight Rider. The kids go to like Universal Studios or something like that, and they're filming a Knight Rider episode, so they're on the set of a Knight Rider episode. So David Hasselhoff is there. Janet Jackson is obviously in the show. She fades out after season 6 because I think she started to become Janet Jackson at this point. But she's Charlene, Willis's girlfriend. And in fact, one time, this was awesome. At one point, I think it was series 5 or so, season 5, Willis is talking to, he's talking about Charlene, of course, played by Janet Jackson. And I can't remember verbatim, but it went something like, Charlene's mad at me because I accidentally called her by the wrong name. And, Mr. Drummond's like, well, what did you call her? And he said, Janet. And the crowd went nuts. They cheered, the studio audience. But I was like, what? Janet, so I think that's about when Janet Jackson started to become Janet Jackson. So tons of guest spots in these series. Season 5 had the burst of guests. We've got Joey Lawrence. Andrew Dice Clay plays a high school bully. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar plays a substitute teacher. Nancy Reagan is in this one. Garrett Morris plays a Santa Claus who breaks into the Drummonds at Christmas and steals stuff. Dorothy Hamill is in this as Dorothy Hamill. She's teaching Kimberly skating lessons. So a rush of celebrity guests in season 5. So season 6, 7, and 8 are great. Strangely, Dixie Carter is replaced by, I don't have her, I think it's Marianne Mobley. So Dixie Carter is out. I don't know if that's when Designing Women started taking off, but she's out after one season as Mrs. Drummond, Sam's mom. And then this Marianne Mobley character is brought in as Mr. Drummond's wife. Season 7, I think we see the end of Kimberly. So she's not on the cover of season 6. She's not. So at the end of season 5, they have Kimberly going to Paris with her boyfriend. So she leaves the show. Now, in real life, old Kimberly was pregnant at 18, and it's 1980-something. And so they decided that Kimberly would be written off the show instead of having to deal with the pregnancy on the show. So she's gone. This is, probably the beginning of Dana Plato's, I guess, downfall. Not that getting pregnant is a downfall, but I think this is when she begins getting involved with drugs and stuff. So she's off the show, but she makes a few appearances throughout season 7 and 8. I don't remember her at all in season 6, but she comes back in season 7. She comes home from Paris. She stays a little while. She has the eating disorder. She's in and out of the episodes very sporadically. You don't see a lot of Kimberly throughout season 7 or season 8. She pops in maybe 2 or 3 episodes here and there. Willis also, he doesn't officially leave the show in season 7 or 8, but he's definitely on it a lot less. In fact, they've got him going off to college, and there's a few episodes of him settling into the dorms and things like that. So the last 2 seasons really centers around Arnold and Sam, which is great because that's when I enjoyed it more. So as Arnold matures a little in season 7 and 8, he's much more tolerable. He's the "what you talking about, Willis" catchphrase is long gone. You don't hear it anymore after a couple of seasons, or the last 2 seasons, and he just starts to grow up a little, and it's much more tolerable. He was an extremely annoying little kid. The final season is fun because Arnold starts to become interested in girls. So there's a lot of like preteen style stuff. Maybe 13-year-old stuff. A lot of school stuff. A lot of girl stuff. They all hang out at a little diner, at a little burger joint, so that's cool. Jason Hervey from Wonder Years is in season 8 as one of Arnold's friends, so he's in probably 5 or 6 episodes, so it's fun to see him before, Wayne on the Wonder Years. So season 7 and 8 are great, just because they deal with different stuff, and, the characters are more tolerable. So I finished it, and I didn't have maybe because it didn't have a final episode, but I usually get really emotional sometimes about shows ending. The Wonder Years, Family Ties, when they have an actual final episode and a send off and a goodbye, I'm like, it hits me. But this one didn't because it was canceled. And so there was no emotional goodbye to this. So I'm not too torn up that I've ended Different Strokes. It's okay. It's okay. It gets better, as the seasons go on. Also, season 8, the house changes. They totally remodel the house, and they put so in the living room, the couch is facing on like this, right? So all of the shots, all of the in-house stuff is from this angle, right? So it's like we're looking at it. Well, when they redecorated the house, they moved the couch this way. So now there's a totally different angle of the house and different angles of the shots, and it throws you off a little bit. They completely remodel the house. I don't know why they would remodel it for the final season. I assume they didn't think it would be the final season. But I would have loved to have seen this show go on a couple more seasons. I would have liked to have seen Arnold become, 16 years old or so. And again, dealing with more, maybe more intense, late teenager issues. I would like to have seen how they do that. It's fine that it ended. It didn't get re-signed. Different Strokes ends after 8 seasons. I think they might have cut them off, too, because there was only 19 episodes in season 8 and, 24, 25 in the other seasons. So I don't know if it ended early, whatever. From here, we have many problems with Dana Plato and many problems with Willis, what the heck's his name? Todd Bridges. And sadly, Arnold's no longer with us, and Dana Plato's no longer with us. In fact, most of the cast. Mr. Drummond died recently. I think everybody who played the maid or whoever has died. I think the Designing Women actress has died. Dixie Carter is dead, I believe. I don't know about Marianne Mobley. I looked up Danny Cooksey. He's doing just fine. Dudley's doing just fine. Jason Hervey's obviously doing just fine. So, anyway, that's it. That's Different Strokes. I am on Growing Pains now. So we're doing, I think, 5 or 6 seasons of Growing Pains now. That's my next 80s show that I'm enjoying, and that's that. So we'll be back. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Talk to you later. Good night now.